we're going to move from there to the memory process. And this is something that's always intrigued me. How does our brain work and how do we remember stuff?
Hi there, guys.
Hi everyone.
This is Wes, and Wes Fittell has been in kids ministry for how many years?
Over 40 years.
Over 40 years!
Yeah, I don't like to think how many more.
Anyway, today he's been doing a training session, and so I'm going to be uploading some parts of his training session. So enjoy!
Let's just say this one more time together. Here we go. Jesus said, I'm going to prepare a place for you. John chapter 14, verse 2. Terrific. Now, you'll find that information is coming into your senses all the time. How much of what comes into your brain actually comes in through hearing? It's 11%. How much through smell? 1%. Taste? Touch? 3%. And how much through sight? 3%. And what are you hearing right now? No, what are you hearing? Just listen.
Yeah, we're hearing you, we're hearing everything around.
I'm glad you're hearing me. But you're also hearing sound from next door, cars going past. What else? Papers turning, anything else?
And the steering area can be the cars.
And actually, you're hearing your heart beating and blood flowing through blood vessels in your head to your ears and all of that. But you know what's happening? Is your brain is constantly taking that input from your senses and processing it and immediately dumping the majority of it, saying, this is irrelevant information. When I finished high school in Gympie and moved to Brisbane, I'll tell you how old I am. Brisbane still had trams. And I lived not on a tram stop, but on a road right beside the tram stop. The trams went round the corner and stopped outside our neighbour's place. My first few weeks in Brisbane, I didn't go to sleep until after the last tram had gone past at about 1 a.m. And I would wake up before 5 when the first tram went past. I thought I would never get used to this. 2 weeks later, I was sitting in my room. Now, I was boarding with this really old lady. She was 61. And so I had my radio turned down really low so I wouldn't sort of annoy her. And all of a sudden I couldn't hear the radio, and 30 seconds later I could. What had happened? A tram had gone past. And all that had happened was that the tram had been too loud for me to hear the radio, but my brain had not registered that the tram had gone past consciously. Because it happened so often, my brain was trained to say irrelevant information, ignore it. Happens all the time. So most of what comes into the brain gets dumped and forgotten. But after the initial processing, some of the information, the bit that your brain says this could be relevant information, gets put into your short-term memory. Now, what can you do to cause things to get into the short-term memory?
If the subject matter is presented in a very interesting way.
Being interesting is really good, yes, okay.
Linking it to something you already know.
Okay, linking it to something you already know, yes, and we'll pick up on that a little bit later. Now, when I run holiday programs with kids, and we're there every week, we quite often teach a different Bible verse each day. And the moment we've taught a Bible verse, I have a small card with the verse written on it that gets stuck up somewhere on the walls, and somewhere where it's going to be regularly seen by the kids all the way through the program. And it's amazing how just that reinforces it. But there's another reason why a lot of you seem to know John chapter 14 verse 2. Let's just see if you can say it again on your own. Ready, go. Okay, yeah. Does anybody not know those words? Now, why? Yeah, okay, repetition. How many times have you said it so far today?
26.
26 times. You said that. This is the process of what happens. After initial processing, things trigger there, the fact that this is relevant information, gets in the short-term memory. Now, if nothing is done to that information, it very quickly gets lost. But if you have to recall that information and do something with it, even just repeat it like we've been doing here, or something like that, that memory is physically, the little physical connections are made stronger immediately. And any time you pick up and use a piece of information you've got in the past, the memory of that bit of information gets strengthened. If it doesn't get used, ultimately the information just gets dumped. We've been doing John 14:2, and we can say it again. Let's read it. Let's do it. Ready? Go. Jesus said, I'm going to prepare a place for you. John chapter 14, verse 2. Okay, we've been doing that. And it's been helpful to repeat it, but it's not repeating it so much as recalling it and doing something with it. 7 times 9 is 63. Why do you know that? And it wasn't just because you repeated it a lot at school. That was the start. That got it into your short-term memory. But what has happened is over the years, and for some of it, it's many years since we learnt that information at school, we have had to use it. And because we've used it, the brain says, this is really important information. What I'm going to have to do is store it where it really can get stuck. So it goes from your short-term memory into the long-term memory. Information that is not soon used soon gets lost from the short-term memory. One of the biggest mistakes that we as teachers make is to teach something and teach it really well and not refer to it or apply it in later lessons. Because every time we have a gap in a recall, the memory gets stronger. And as time goes on, the gaps can be greater, but every time stuff is recalled, and particularly if anything has to then be done about applying it, the memory gets greatly strengthened and gets strengthened for a much longer time. I think sometimes the mistake we make is trying to teach too much.
Yes.
You know, and I think sometimes they it's too much in the lessons, we've got too many lessons. Find a really good lesson and take 2 weeks to teach it if necessary. And to make sure that at least no more than 2 weeks after it, you recall some important part of that lesson. See, if I said to you now, what does this bring back to mind? You would say, what is all-powerful? Okay, what is something else you could tell me out of that lesson about God? God is all-powerful. God is everywhere. God has always lived. God knows everything. God has no sin. God loves me. Okay. Now, your memory of those points has now been strengthened. You'll probably be able to remember it tomorrow or even next week. You know? But if you don't think about it and do something with it, in the next month or so, you'll probably forget it. And that's why all your important stuff, you need to keep coming back. I go there for the one lesson of the year they have. I've got to work hard on this stuff because I get one shot at it, you know. But I love it when I turn out like I did one time. A grade 7 boy met me at the gate and said, I can't get that song out of my brain. I said, what song? He said, you know, the one you taught us last year, Jesus Super Saviour. great. And, you know, I go into the class and they can tell me what I taught them last year. Well, sometimes I can't remember what I taught them last year, but they can tell me, you know. If a newly encoded memory doesn't get used, it will quickly fade, but if we activate it repeatedly, the pattern of connection gets more and more deeply embedded in our tissues. And that's what we want to do. We want to embed God's truth in the tissues of the brains of these kids. When we're talking about God, when we're talking about spiritual principles, we need to start off with something that kids understand.
Hey guys, did you enjoy some of that training? If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you'd like more ideas like this, go ahead and subscribe. And I want to thank you, Wes. Thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure. I love doing this.